The goal of this video is to discover the smallest leak Flo by Moen can detect and to show you how Flo's automatic and manual health checks work. My last video covered medium to large loss leak scenarios, but at some threshold, Flo doesn't cut the water off. Instead, the daily health check discovers the smaller leaks. For instance, when I first installed my last Flo, I was running a test under my patio in an attempt to prove concrete is porous. Both the slow flow attempt and the higher flow attempt weren't strong enough to get cut off during the day, but they were discovered in the automatic nightly health check. These were very steady streams of water you'd expect to discover with a $500 unit. Well, a drop of every 52 seconds out of my home's plumbing is not enough to be caught by the pressure sensor to trigger a leak notification. A drop every 6.5 seconds is enough. While the health test didn't catch a drop at the minute mark, Flo actually can help you discover a leak way smaller than a drop a minute. I'll cover that towards the end and stay focused on the automatic and manual health checks at the moment here. Unfortunately, that's where the leak testing for this video has to stop. And here's why, along with what you can expect from automatic and manual plumbing checks. This was my fourth Flo unit, and I didn't get a chance to continue finding the limit for my home due to the August heat in Arizona. I also wanted the nightly check to catch it and not run manual checks back to back to give this video a more realistic scenario. There's also a difference between a manual health check and an auto health check. The manual check warns you it can last up to 4 minutes before you kick it off, while an automatic health check can last up to 9 minutes. What you're looking at right now was my attempt at running a manual health check after the nightly health check did not discover the drop every 52 seconds. Since the test only lasted 40 seconds and a manual health test can run up to 4 minutes if it suspects a very small leak is present, just under a drop a minute is too small of a leak to detect in my home's plumbing. Based on the advertised runtime difference, it appears an automatic check may catch a smaller leak than a manual test. I am enrolled in the Flo Protect plan, and I had the 5th unit sent to a location where it can be installed indoors to continue testing the longevity of Flo in a more protected environment. While I could continue to test in the new location, I can't test Fin Plus in that new location because it's now installed on my home for a similar testing to share with you. None of these water monitors are the same size for an easy swap. The problem is, this test is very dependent on the amount of plumbing in your home. If you have less pipe, Flo by Moen will detect a smaller leak. And if you have more plumbing than my trunk and branch system, it may not catch a drop every 6.5 seconds. If you have a manifold, you can turn off all the valves and individually test each line, which Flo would perform beautifully. While there is a big difference between 6.5 seconds and 52 seconds, this still gives you an idea of what Flo by Moen is capable of on a real home of about 2,000 square feet and how health checks work. Now it's on to how to discover a leak of less than a drop a minute with Flo by Moen. Overnight testing. If you saw my video on how small of a leak you can detect with a water pressure gauge, this is exactly the same. We're capitalizing on Flo's pressure sensor. First, if you have a tank-style water heater, you'll have to completely cool the water inside so that thermal contraction does not impact the results of the test. I covered thermal expansion specifically with regard to its interference with detecting a minute leak in this past video. Once you've eliminated thermal expansion, turn off the water shutoff to the house and make sure nothing uses water for the duration of the test. Then, write down the pressure reading at the start of the test. While I can't show you the results in Flo, in the water pressure gauge test, where my goal is to get a drop in pressure of 5 psi, a drop of water about every 4 minutes will drop the pressure in my home's plumbing by 5 psi over the course of 8 hours. At the end of 8 hours, or whatever duration you run the test, compare the beginning pressure reading with the ending pressure reading. If there's a significant enough drop, you have your answer. Again, keep in mind your own results will be different just because there's a difference in the volume of water between your plumbing and mine. Admittedly, this small of a leak will never be caught by a health test, and it's unrealistic to expect it to. But it is possible, and that's part of the fun of thinking what you can do with these kinds of systems. I invite you to consider liking this video if you found it helpful and subscribing so that you don't miss the results of the exact same testing of Fin Plus. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next Friday.